Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Victoria and today we are in the kitchen making dessert for our neighbors. We have some blackberry bushes out back, but they are not quite ready yet. So today I went to the farmer's market and picked up some blackberries from one of the local growers. So yeah, we're gonna make some blackberry cobbler. We're gonna make one for our neighbors, and then I'm gonna make another one. I won't do both of those on camera. We don't need to see that duplicated. But I'll do one for tomorrow. My daughter and her husband are bringing the babies over tomorrow, and we're gonna have a fun day together. So I'm gonna make some dinner, and I'm gonna make a couple of different desserts. So I've been trying new recipes in order to see what our favorites are. Today I'm actually using a recipe from the Pioneer Woman. It's a little bit different. The ingredients aren't different, it's just really the process. So instead of melting butter in the pan first, she recommends melting the butter and then putting it into the batter. So that's what we are going to start out with. Recipe calls for 1 1/4 cups plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. But in the batter, we're going to do the 1 1/4 cup, and then we're going to reserve those 2 tablespoons for sprinkling on top. And then putting it back in the oven for 10 minutes. All right, so we need 1 cup. And 1/4 cup of sugar. So 1 1/4 cups of sugar. And then we'll measure out those 2 tablespoons later on. All right, 1 cup of self-rising flour. That's another thing. Normally I use all-purpose, but for this recipe, she is saying self-rising, so we're going for it. I'll use a different measuring cup for the flour. All right, there is 1. So we're gonna mix those together. All right. Ooh. A bit of flour power. Okay. And then we've got 1 cup of whole milk. You can use any milk, but they do say that they recommend whole milk. So we're going to combine the sugar and the flour, the milk, and then we've got 4 tablespoons of melted butter. We're going to mix that all together. And I do have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I started that ahead of time so it would be ready. I didn't wear an apron because I thought this probably wouldn't be too awfully messy, but I may end up regretting that. I can already tell this is a much looser batter because of the melted butter being in it. So we're mixing that just until combined. All right, and we are pouring it on top of we're pouring it on top of an 8x8 casserole dish. She says a 9x9, but for me it was either an 8x8 or a 9x13. So we're gonna go with the 8x8, and we'll cook it maybe for an extra few minutes since it's gonna be a little bit thicker. All right, let's just double check. We've got our sugar, we've got flour, milk, and half a stick of butter, and then we'll add in our 2 cups of fresh blackberries. Okay, so we're going to pour this on top. Let me get a little spatula so I can scrape that out. Need to get some new rubber spatulas. I have a hard time finding rubber spatulas that I really like. Okay. They say the best rubber spatulas are ones that are all one piece. Sometimes these will come off the handles, and I have found that to be true. All right. Now we are going to distribute these blackberries on top. These are really good sized blackberries too. And before I put these in the bowl, I soak them in a little bit of lemon water for just a little bit, because I've heard that blackberries get or can get little worms in them. And if you soak them in lemon water first, that will draw those out. So I soaked them and then I rinsed them, and I didn't see anything, so they may or may not have had anything in them, but I like to be a little cautious. Not a huge fan of extra protein in my desserts. Okay, put those in there. Now I have stained fingers, so I don't want to go wash. Well, you know what? I've already messed up. I was supposed to put 1/4 cup of sugar in the batter and then sprinkle the 1/4 cup on top. So I think what I'm going to do is just give it a tiny little sprinkle on top. This is why you should always read through your recipe a couple of times before you just jump into it. I normally do that, but on top of this recipe, which thankfully it's very easy, I'm also trying to learn how to record and edit videos and be comfortable in front of the camera. So there's a lot going on up here. All right, so we're gonna pop this in the oven and bake for 50 minutes. And we'll see you when it's ready. Okay, so that was in the oven for, ooh, that is also hot. That has been in the oven for 50 minutes. I'm going to sprinkle the top with 2 tablespoons of sugar. This may end up being really sweet. And I'm going to put it back in the oven for 10 minutes. Okay, so that is our Blackberry Cobbler complete. I'm going to let that cool down for a few minutes, and then I'm going to take that over to our neighbors so that they can enjoy it. And then I'm going to go ahead and get started on the double batch for our family dinner tomorrow. This is absolutely great by itself, but if you want to take it up a notch, add a little bit of vanilla ice cream on top of that while it's still warm, and it will be fantastic. Decide to try this recipe. Let me know how it goes. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, what you might recommend instead. If you enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll consider liking it and subscribing to my channel so that you can follow along for more recipes in the kitchen, more gardening activities, and lots of things to come as my channel continues to grow and as I continue to learn. I hope you'll be right there with me. So thanks for joining me today, and I will see you next time.